This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.
Cause I got far, I'm going home. Cause I got far.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. That's still my problem. Happy New Year. I wish all you out there a happy and prosperous New Year, wherein hopefully you will not be fired from your job or wrongfully denied pay. Hopefully neither you nor anyone you know will need an employment lawyer, but on the off chance you do, write down this number, 877-525-0700. My law firm at 877-525-0700. Yes, 877-525-0700 for a law firm that has been representing employees since 1993 with a high rate of success.
Can I give out my number?
Do women still do that if they're looking for a date? How is it done now?
With miracle tablets. I have a wide array of capsules in all the new colors for $2.19.
Wait a minute. First, we need to introduce you with the guest. I'm probably going to get my guest in trouble because my guest is a show host on another radio station. But this guest is so famous, and I desperately need to keep up the ratings. I present to you the one and only most famous medical talk show host on talk radio. Not this station, unfortunately, but for some, but fortunately for me. Without further ado, I present to you the one and only Dr. Z.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Wow, it certainly is a pleasure to sit in the same seat where Remus Helms and his thing have sat.
No, the pleasure, not in a Remus Helms sense, is mine.
I want everybody to know that the combination blue and purple pill, complete with 1% soy mutton, 2% ostrich oil, vitamin F minus and G major, no, actually middle C, is now on sale for only $199.99 for 2 pills for the first 24 hours days of 2019.
Exactly what does this pill do?
Not 1, but 2.
I want to get right to the point. Does the combination blue and purple pill provide any medical benefit at all?
Yes. The light sky blue 1 and PMS 2745 purple pill you referred there to. Perfect. The vitamin F is good for your glutes. The 2% ostrich oil creates bile blend for your small intestines so you can be totally goat.
As usual on this show, I'm a little confused. I thought you were a man, Dr. Zhivago.
No biggie. I am only a man on West Coast station broadcasts between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. I guess you don't listen to Swing Shift's broadcasts.
Sounds more like graveyard to me. Are you the Dr. Zhivago or merely an actor?
For the purposes of the first segment of your show, I am Dr. Zhivago.
Is somebody else going to be here for the second segment?
Not necessarily.
But maybe.
Maybe.
Next question, and one perhaps more important for me than many of the listeners on those other stations where you have a swing shift broadcast and then you broadcast at other times of the day as well. Are you ready?
Are you ready for the sex, girls? The hot hat, Levi, big hat, girls, are you ready for the sex, girls? The right, white, ultra bright, nice girls. They can play pool in your home and take off all their clothes, yeah. They can talk about locals and the know where it goes. They are women without any faults. Hey, are you ready for sex, girls? The wild ride, fast pony girls. Yeah.
Why are you singing a Gleaming Spires song from 1981?
It is my understanding that the members of Gleaming Spires were simultaneously in Sparks. On my long drive in from the Orange Coast, I had a nice little conversation with Smart Girl. She said Karl Gerber, workplace lawyer, is a Sparks fan.
I'll let this one go for now, but further lapses in the song may bring consequences.
What kind of consequences?
I was merely asking if you're ready for the question of the night, one that might disqualify you from further broadcasts.
Oh, should I be serious?
Yes. Are you a real doctor?
I am a licensed chiropractor. In your mind.
My mind? You're spewing out medical advice when selling your wares.
Wares? I am not selling pirated 8-track tapes.
Selling your neat colored pills.
And interesting and unusual flavors meant to hook impressionable teenagers for life.
Do you hold a medical license other than in my mind? Is there a license that entitles you to corrupt the world with your color combinations?
Do you have something against Red Hot Chili Peppers? Is it going to be the it color for 2019? Not only for edible gel capsules, but every home interior.
Is it legal for you to peddle pills as medically reputable if you're only a chiropractor in my mind? Not my mind anymore. He sort of dispelled that myth.
I've been before the FDA about 15, 16, nope, 28 times in the last 15 years. They don't have a problem with what I'm doing. They just keep hauling me in for questioning. Mr. Gerber, may I ask you why you're arching your back in pain?
I've done a couple of 15-yard pours lately, bending over, screeding between rebar, floating 5,000 PSI concrete with a trowel before it dries.
May I recommend the Implorizer method?
You may, but not on this show.
Your back will feel like tapioca ice milk if you do some iron for your discs. Mint zinc for the infidel of your interior posterior. The prodigious product will ship to your Tustin office by noon tomorrow.
Why not my Sherman Oaks office?
The Implorizer won't ship to L.A. County.
Why is that?
Well, Garcetti.
The mayor won't allow the product in, the whole county? He's only in charge of the city of Los Angeles.
No, Garcetti's got dibs on all the L.A. County shipments. He incubates it into his paws during its frequent flights around the country. Always on somebody else's dollar, on his frequency feelers out there to feel his way up every woman's legs and every man's bank account to gander whether more than 1 or 2 people could vote for him as president of the United States of America, for which it stands, one nation held hostage by orphan a fool sleeping in the big house.
We don't need a second delusional president. What makes Garcetti think more than a handful of homeless people empowered by his lack of effectiveness would allow him to get elected anywhere in Los Angeles, let alone Texas or Utah?
Garcetti will get elected because he has the pill. He takes the little blue pill after every city council meeting, even if the John at council headquarters is occupied.
Not to change the subject, or maybe I really want to, but I recall you listening, or me listening to your show when I was in law school. It was being broadcast at my gym, not the place kids go to. Anyway, the point is the salespeople there at the gym were handing out 3 samples of your vitamins, and this was back in 1991. I must say you don't look older than a day less than 40.
Did you try the free samples?
I did, and I became quite frightened when lime green urine filled the toilet bowl.
That was the vitamin B12 interacting with the liver, which produced sodium pancreas due to the reaction with hemoglobin when breathing in a closed room illuminated by Prosperous.
Seriously.
No, the lime green effect was your antifreeze interacting with your urinary tract.
Wait a minute, I don't store antifreeze in my digestive tract.
You don't?
Just to be clear, and we need to be because we had a professional imposter on the show 4 episodes back. You really are Dr. Zhivago, aren't you? Because he's a man.
There's been a lot of mistaking lately. Dr. Zhivago was a character in a movie. My real name is Dr. Ziegenhaus. At a certain point, it was simply more expedient on Expedia and Travelocity to go by a name ringing familiarity to the filthy. I mean fecund. I mean frickin'. Did I just say that? Public.
Now that we've cleared all that up, can we get down to your labor issues?
When I had my second child, quite recently, I was in labor for 26 hours. It was then I took a rattan brown pill and then a big hot pink pill. Although I felt immediate relief, mainly from the hypothalamus meets anti-collagen effect, my labor was not expedited. Vitamin D minus G minor finally made it happen.
Yeah, labor employment issues. Wait, if you've been a doctor on the radio for at least 28 years, how could you still be childbearing?
Simple. Salmon oil, canola oil, omega-15, soy mutton 3%, sodium peroxide 1.5%. And you said I don't look a day over under 40.
Do you want to tell the listeners where they can buy this special formula?
P.O. Box 1212, Cincinnati, Ohio. Send the money order only. Sorry, no checks or credit cards. We do accept cash 3 times a day, 1,000 milligram supplements. This product is not covered by any domestic or international insurance company. In fact, it's prohibited in the lower 7 states, east of Colorado. $59.99 per capsule. If you buy 100, we give you 10% off your next order. Yes, 9.99% off.
Yeah, these sound like miracle products.
Would you like to try one?
I'm not interested in trying to carry a child to labor myself.
But there is a different product in your case.
All right, you're listening to Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. I'm really a workplace lawyer. I don't know about this Dr. Zhivago guest on here. If you got a real labor law problem, seriously, you can call me at the office, 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700. 877-525-0700 for a very serious labor lawyer at the office. Thank you for listening. We'll come back in a minute and find more about Dr. Zhivago's miracle drugs on Talk Radio 790 KBC.
So much energy you can gain for your metabolism and your genes and your brain. 1, 2, 3, 5.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a consistent force in fighting for the rights of California employees. They've represented thousands of employees in cases in which they've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, discriminated against at work, or owed wages individually or as a group such as a class action. The Employment Lawyers Group has maintained a high win rate and a serious record before the California courts. Please call 877-525-0700 for an experienced work lawyer. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, research the firm at worklawyerca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. If you hire the Employment Lawyers Group, your legal problem becomes theirs to solve.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Brian Bruno, live on the scene of a recent windstorm, here to describe the event, The Chest of Drawers.
There's a storm howling outside, so I thought I'd stay in and watch a rom-com. 5 minutes into the flick, a tree branch slams through the window.
Were you hurt?
I just got a scratch on my chest.
Your chest of drawers can't help you in a windstorm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Call Geico to see how affordable homeowners insurance can be.
Oh, hey.
Hey, did you hear? My friend's company was the victim of an email impersonation attack.
It's a serious threat to every business.
What if cybercriminals target us and trick accounting into making a wire transfer?
Don't worry, we have Barracuda.
So we're secured?
Yeah. Barracuda uses artificial intelligence to detect and block spear phishing and account takeover attempts.
What a relief.
Don't become a victim. Protect your business at Barracuda.com. Barracuda. Your journey secured.
Indeed knows it's hard to find qualified candidates when you're hiring.
It's like finding a unicorn.
But when you post your job on Indeed, it's easy to find people with the skills you need.
Nurse practitioner, 4+ years experience, acute care certification.
Indeed has a huge pool of amazing candidates and screener tools that help you find your most qualified applicants.
Whoa, an entire short list of unicorns.
Now, get a $50 credit to give your first job posting premium placement at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, quality standards, and usage limits apply. apply. Additional terms online.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the only $5 meal worthy of your appetite? Wendy's Giant Junior Bacon Cheeseburger Meal. Our classic Junior Bacon Cheeseburger is now bigger, with double the fresh, never frozen beef and double the Applewood smoked bacon. There's nothing junior about it except the price. Wendy's Giant Junior Bacon Cheeseburger Meal comes with nuggets, fries, and a drink for just $5. Get the $5 Giant Junior Bacon Cheeseburger Meal at Wendy's. Giant meal, junior price.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Cause I got fun. I'm going home. Cause I got
Talk
fun.
Radio 790 KBC. You're listening to the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I'm Karl Gerber. I'm really a licensed lawyer. And we have tonight on Dr. Jai Ganahas, which just seems to be pronounced Dr. Zhivago because it's easier. And she's a really big syndicated talk show host, not on this station. And she peddles some questionable products, and that's kind of what we're getting into at this point. And I thought she was a man, but I found out just on the swing shift, which are really the graveyard shifts, that's when she happens to be a man. So, Dr. Zhivago, do you have employee and labor problems, or we just going to spend the rest of this show with you peddling your questionable products?
The Midwest Dr. Zhivago wants to strike out on his own.
If he strikes out on his own, would he be calling himself Dr. Zhivago or using another name to peddle wonderful, overpriced quack medicine that turns your urine into funny colors?
He feels he has earned the perennial privilege of striking out on his own behalf and going by Dr. Zhivago.
Was he an employee of yours?
He is.
As an employee of yours, any work he has done for you is the property of your organization. He must strike out all his claims to use his work once he leaves your employment.
Should I strike out all his computer files? You do know he reads from flashcards he's allowed to keep after the end of every show on the presumption daughter recycles them for her spelling tests.
Was he required to strike out his lines for the show before passing them down to his descendants?
What do you mean, strike? One of our assistants does all the striking.
Excuse me, but I'm not familiar with the term striking. Is it different than striking?
I don't think so. It's the same as when you go to a 9-pin bowling alley and hit all the hairpins on your first try.
I'm going to stick with 10-pin bowling, where they use bowling pins made out of soap and call it a strike if you knock down all 10 on your first try.
That's your business. If you want to strike it out that way, you know.
And your business if you want to throw balls at hairpins.
Can I license the Midwest and Dr. Zhivago in a few select states like Ohio and Nebraska?
You could.
Thanks. That answers all of my legal questions. Can we spend the rest of this show advertising my products?
No! You'd have to sponsor this show to do that. Actually, I'd never let you, nor would my listeners who aren't here to hear some silly infomercial. But incidentally, I've been practicing labor and employment law representing employees since 1993. So could you please call me if you and anybody doing your job is owed a lot of wages? And you can call this number 877-525-0700. If you are the victim of serious sexual harassment, I'd like to help if you call 877-525-0700. You do know I have offices throughout Southern California and rarely lose a case. 877-525-0700 is the way to present your case to a quality employee lawyer.
Come you can say all that?
Because this is my show and the content is both funny and educational. People don't stream old episodes thousands of times every week on the Karl Gerber part of the YouTube channel because they want to hear an infomercial about a highly questionable pill.
Well, you aren't selling any pills on your show. I mean, there isn't like a truth serum the victim of sexual harassment can use on the harasser.
There is, and it's higher-end Cadillacs. It is some smart car combo with Alexa and Siri that is way better and has stored information from every text, phone call, and thing said while your smart device has been on. It even jokes with you.
How come you get to make all this stuff up?
This I'm not making up. I located Myron Alfombra, pronounced Manning, in New York. I rented a semi-autonomous Cadillac afterwards, which was all they had, and it knew the name of the books I held up in bookstores and how many times my wife went into the bathroom at a restaurant.
Somebody's probably just spying on you. I hope they don't strip you out.
I'm not making this up.
It's a good thing. A good thing all your information can be reviewed when you're driving. Sometimes I forget how many times I've gone to the bathroom. The device even knows that?
Not to change the subject away from eerie privacy invasions, wherein our smartphones see what we do and record what we do as long as they're on, but I have some pressing questions about your products. I place you in somewhat of the same category as Myron Alfombra, pronounced Manning, who manufactures an ever-growing Gerber toupee that can also be used as townhome carpet.
The nerve of you! Me in the same light as Myron Alfombra, pronounced Manning? Are you gonna chase me all across the nation, get involved in high-speed car chases with muscle cars, and bribe your way with contraband Iranian diapers?
Maybe.
Oh my. Will all the sordid details of your expose into my practices be covered here on multiple episodes of Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer?
Maybe, but we first need to establish exactly how many people are playing Dr. Zhivago on the radio.
Well, that's not so easy. There are the authorized ones and the unauthorized Dr. Zhivagos.
Unauthorized?
Well, imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah, I'm sure they bear a striking resemblance to your not a day under quite 40 appearance.
Some of the unauthorized Dr. Zhivagos don't look a thing like me.
Well, in the Midwestern version, he does.
At least he's an authorized Dr. Zhivago until she strikes out on his own.
Other than the fact some or all of the unauthorized Dr. Zhivagos don't look anything like you, which could not be detected on a radio show, and they presumably don't sound like you and are not even women, have there been problems with the unauthorized ones?
Oh, yes. They don't offer refunds. It's important to always offer refunds.
Oh, I see. Don't make waves when there's a return because a customer might just go to the FDA?
Intelligent thinking. One of the problems is we've been sued by customers who think we're the unauthorized Dr. Zhivagos.
I don't really have a problem with you being sued as much as possible.
Come on. It's like when somebody works at a franchise McDonald's and they sue the big corporate McDonald's that doesn't manage and control the employee.
Now, given your products, suing you is a good thing. Far more healthy than the crimson pill and sunlit orange capsule.
Can I change something I said earlier?
You can change deposition testimony after it's given, but the fact you made the change can be read to the jury. Changing yeses to nos can impact your credibility.
I don't have any credibility.
You're telling me!
It's about the FDA. I've had more like 39 inquiries in the last 5 years, and, the little sunlit orange ostrich encased capsule was radioactive.
Heavens to Betty from the Golden Girls.
But I don't have anything to do with the unauthorized Dr. Zhivagos. I've only met a handful of them.
If they are unauthorized persons claiming to be you or to hail from your outfit, technically you should not be sued. At least not if you didn't knowingly let them continue to go by Dr. Zhivago. But on a moral and ethical level, I really don't care if you get sued for their bad conduct because the whole Dr. Zhivago persona is, well, getting stranger and stranger. Until this show, I didn't know there were multiple Dr. Zhivagos.
How can I possibly broadcast from over 500 radio stations every week?
You could pre-record.
Pre-record? I'd never do a thing like that.
I agree. The pre-recording of the death knell of a show.
I can't be in Kansas and Los Angeles at the same time. I once tried flying from time zone to time zone every hour. It was a bit rough until I tried vitamin T cell Xeroxed. Yet vitamin T cell Xerox in the form of a non-confrontational stone gray capsule in the shape of a kangaroo.
Well, why not in the shape of an ostrich?
Come on, do you think I want to step on somebody's important shoes? I mean...
Oh my gosh, this Dr. Zhivago guest, I don't know what's next, and I don't want her selling any of her stuff on my show, but when we come back, we're going to find out why they're unauthorized Dr. Zhivagos and how that whole thing works. You're listening to Karl Gerber Workplace Radio Show on Talk Radio 790 KBC. If you seriously want to call me about a real labor issue, you can do that. I doubt you'd want to, but just in case you do, my number is 877-525-0700, 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700. I would encourage you to catch up on old episodes on workplacelawyer.org. When we come back, we'll hear more about Dr. Zhivago.
So much energy you can gain for your metabolism and your genes and your brain. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7.
Since 1993, the Employment Lawyers Group has been a results-oriented law firm whose goal is to get the client what they deserve. They've represented thousands of California employees who've lost their jobs, been sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or were owed wages on an individualized or group basis, such as a class action. They have a high rate of success. There are few situations involving employment law that they have not confronted. At the forefront of employee rights, they're often the first employee law firm to confront a new legal issue. For an experienced employment lawyer, call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have call takers standing by. Online, read more about the firm at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Make your work problem theirs to solve.
Talk Radio 790, KABC News Update. I'm Steve Cumming. The Golden Globes are underway. The Best Original Score Award has gone to Justin Hurwitz for First Man. Shallow is this year's Golden Globes winner for Best Original Song in the film A Star is Born. Lady Gaga accepted the award along with the song's composers.
As a woman in music, it is really hard to be taken seriously as a musician and as a songwriter. And these three incredible men, they lifted me up. They supported me.
The Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress in a Motion Picture has gone to Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk. The award for Best Actress in a Drama Series went to Sandra Oh for BBC America's Killing Eve. The Mexican film Roma, no surprise here, has won the Golden Globe for Best Foreign Film. The Golden Globe for Best Actor in a TV movie or limited series has gone to Darren Criss for his work in The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story. KABC SoCal weather, mostly cloudy tonight with a 50% chance of showers after midnight, lows in the upper 40s to mid-50s. More news coming up in 30 minutes, continuing coverage at KABC.com. I'm Steve Cumming, Talk Radio 790, KABC News.
You need someone to look at your heating and air system, right, Mom?
Yes.
Listen to this. I found it on the testimonials page for the Smell Good Plumbers at MikeDiamond.com. It says, "Dear Mr. Diamond, I was told you're a good boss and I think you have the best installer. He did great work. I tried to help lift the furnace, but he wouldn't let me. So I talked his arms off. I talked too much, but he loved it. I told him if I was 20 years younger, he would be mine. How about that? You better keep him happy. He did a beautiful job putting in the furnace. Put me on his call list. I only want him. Hugs and kisses."
Sounds like she found herself a boyfriend.
I don't know, but she definitely found herself a good repairman. And lots of others have too. Read some of these.
I'm Mike Diamond. I guarantee my plumbers will show up on time and smell good, or your house call is free. Read some of the testimonials and book your appointment online at MikeDiamond.com. Contractor's license number 399170.
This is Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius.
Hey, it's Brad Dalius, host of Behind the Mic, and we're wrapping up your day with your favorite LA sports teams, the latest buzz in national sports, and more, weeknights at 11 on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Can Mazda be sued for the death of a car passenger because of the design of their seatbelt? That's just one of the challenging issues tackled by our guest on Champions of Justice, Martin Buchanan, an extraordinary appellate lawyer who has appeared before the U.S. Supreme Court. And he talks with Tom Girardi about what it takes to appear before the highest court in the land. Tune in, Champions of Justice, Saturday morning at 11 and Sunday night at 10 here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Your windows leak like an old boat. Your furnace sounds like it's alive when it kicks on. And why does your basement still smell? Well, I can help you figure all that out. Just listen to House Smarts Radio with me, Lou Manfredini, this Saturday morning from 8 to 9 a.m. right here on Talk Radio 790 KABC.
Enough of that music. You're listening to Talk Radio 790 KBC, Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer Show, and I am Karl Gerber. I want to thank all of those people listening to this show tonight and not the Golden Globes, which I'm sure is a much more interesting show. When we were on break, we had a live caller call in, and this is, an interesting call. He says that he had a question. It's about if someone is driving a motor vehicle while holding a cell phone, the options are, what are you supposed to do? A, call the police. B, shoot the driver. C, slow down. D, call Karl Gerber, Workplace Lawyer, at 877-525-0700. Okay, that's why we don't take calls. You never know what you're going to get. And, I'm not a DMV lawyer anyways. I'm an employee lawyer. So, Dr. Zhivago, could you please, could you lift your foot? You're digging your 9-inch heels into my new wingtips.
Is that your foot? I thought it was a pile of gelatin. Every day the factory gets quite the shipment of gelatin. It's almost like we're walking on it instead of our Queen's carpets.
Queen's carpet? Don't tell me you bought that terrible product for headquarters.
The gelatin tends to retard the bulbous growth. We only have to tampoon the carpet 6 times a day, but sometimes we let it grow 14 inches during the week, and we tampoon on Sundays. Not originally. I grew up just outside of Area 51 in Nevada, but my family settled in Orange, California when I was 13.
Are you originally from California?
Yes. I almost got my AA at Los Angeles Valley College.
Did you do your schooling in California?
I sensed we both needed a shot of carrot juice infused in the gremlin green tablet number one. I mean, the tablet, the green gremlin infused in juice carrot.
Dr. Zhivago brought in liquids we've been drinking. I'm concerned.
On break, you should see how this is all worked out.
On break, I'll be walking over to Toyota of Culver City and using their facilities. I shiver at the thought of what was in that pink bubbly liquid you claimed was sparkling water that would help my sinuses.
Yeah, I almost got my AA at Los Angeles Valley College, but the 87 earthquake hit. Didn't do any damage to my apartment or anything, but I just had to quit.
Yeah, it really shook your nerves up, eh?
Nowadays, I would have been covered by the FMLA for serious medical condition. A serious medical condition if you don't use my Amarillo yellow pill. Yes, the pill for all-day sunshine.
If merely one Amarillo pill would have cured your shaken nerves, or wherever it was when an almost forgotten earthquake struck Pasadena, some 20 miles from Los Angeles Valley College, I'm not sure you would have suffered from a serious medical condition.
Advancements in pharmaceuticals. For only $19.99 a day, you can take the Amarillo yellow pill and be happy all day.
Speaking of things I have taken, I myself took a number of courses at that fine institution referred to as LAVC by natives. I believe my brother is a member of the Alumni Association. He's often considered taking a sabbatical from Harvard Medical School and teaching, say, Algebra 1 or geometry at LAVC.
Your brother, Moonshine. He tutored me in chemistry. That's when I got the idea to go into the vitamin/pharmaceutical business.
Heaven have mercy on Moonshine. I hope he didn't suggest you enter into the peddling business.
Oh, no. He suggested I pursue liberal or theater arts. Wasn't sure I'd go very far in medicine, being that I was getting a D in chemistry.
Well, hopefully his tutoring helped.
I never could have gotten a C on my third try without his help.
It's interesting because I didn't do that well in torts in law school. I guess some academic experiences can be non-representative of predictions of future outcomes.
No, my study of Chemistry 101 was pretty representative of my career in science.
Well, how did you get through medical school? I presume the thing about being a chiropractor in my mind was just a joke, or you were suggesting one of the many pills in your arsenal of colors could impute suggestions into my mind.
Don't tell anybody, but I never got into medical school.
One of the crazy guests we had on the show said you were a chiropractor.
That's the Southeastern Dr. Zhivago.
What kind of a doctor are you anyway?
Doctor of Divinity.
I also believe that one of the guests on the show made that claim.
It's not a claim, it's reality.
I guess that's impressive that you have a doctorate in addition to your professional license.
Oh, yes, I'm very proud of my professional license.
When did you become licensed?
1988.
Isn't that around the same time my brother was tutoring you in Chemistry 101 at LAVC?
Moonshine was tutoring me the summer of 87.
Oh, that's when I lifted red pants and allergy pills.
I thought that was a short story.
It is, but the events related in that story pretty much happened to me.
That's the same as what's scripted for this show, right? I mean,
more or less.
Did we ever meet at Valley College?
I was largely involved in that institution circa 86 to 88, but I returned in 90 during my final semester of college.
I was just a kid then.
Yeah, I was a minor during a lot of my attendance at LAVC.
I was a minor the whole time, 86 through 90.
The chronology here is not adding up. This is similar to the testimony of many witnesses who are not telling the truth.
Mr. Gerber, why would I be telling the truth? I mean...
Beats me!
Yeah, I got my professional license in 1987.
But you hadn't completed Chemistry 101 by the summer of 87, and you were still a minor.
I messed up a little on the dates, okay? I got my license when I was 18.
Can I see your license?
Would you mind if I stepped out for a minute? I always keep my book in my car.
No problem. I'll just keep this show running with seafood injury jokes.
Let me grab some iodine, cup of sulfate infused with vitamin E, rose petals, and ground lemon seeds. Ground underground by the skinlets.
Don't hurry back or anything. Listeners, this particular witness has dug a hole deeper than the election for assistant dope waxer at Hellhole Palms. Personally, I think she's in her mid to early 30s. There's no way she could have been around for chemistry tutoring at a community college in 1987.
Oh, I wish I was an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, oh, everyone would be in love with me. I've got my book. May I see a driver's license and thumb?
This is a notary book.
Yes, I am a notary public. What do you need? What do you need notarized? Perhaps an out-of-state settlement agreement? By the way, for calendar year 2019, I've had up to my rates to $25 for in-store appointments and $50 for specials like this, where I travel to the customer.
Dr. Zhivago, you may continue. I'm getting a little worried here. Yeah? Are you going to say something? She's not going to say anything. I don't know why. Dr. Zhivago, I don't have anything for you to notarize.
Well, then why did you ask me to bring my book?
Dr. Zhivago, I don't have anything for you to notarize.
Well, then why did you ask me to bring my book?
Dr. Z, I don't have anything for you to notarize.
Why did you ask me to bring my book?
Oh, I'm glad I'm not an Oscar Mayer wiener, and that I truly hate to be, because if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, there would soon nothing be left of me.
I feel like we're repeating ourselves.
Really?
So I am not going to notarize anything?
Dr. Zhivago, what professional license do you hold?
Notary Republican, state of California.
It's notary public?
I say Republican because there are a lot of conservative listeners here on talk radio.
Hey, why do you think I took the digs on Garcetti? He's one Democrat who I think is nothing but, I can't really say.
Can you now say something good about our president and impress a few more listeners?
Why would I do a thing like that?
If the Midwest Dr. Zhivago goes out on his own, could I prevent him due to a restraint on trade theory?
Oh, I'm sure there's some restraint on trade theory we can explain when we come back after our break. I don't know why we're singing Oscar Mayer Wiener songs. This is too much for me on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show that you're listening to. I am a real workplace lawyer, and I won't talk about politics if you call my office at 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700, 877-525-0700. This is Comedy Radio with an emphasis on employment law. You have been listening to Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on, as I say again, Talk Radio 790 KBC.
Come where the vitamin B's. We're a great big family. So much energy you can gain for your metabolism.
The Employment Lawyers Group is a results-driven law firm whose goal is to get the right result for the client. They have represented employees with a high rate of success since 1993 throughout the state of California. They're only paid and if they are able to collect money from the employer, so there's not any upfront fees or costs in order to hire them. They have represented thousands of employees who've been terminated from their jobs, sexually harassed, subjected to employment discrimination, or are owed wages in an individualized or group basis such as a class action. Call 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. They have operators standing by. They can also be reached at employeelawca.com. They have offices throughout Southern California. Hire them and make your workplace problem theirs to solve.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters Association and this station.
Until using Credit Karma, Cynthia Eden only ever dreamed of hiking the Incan Trail to Machu Picchu. At age 8, she mastered the ancient art of Peruvian pan flute. In her 20s, she subsisted solely on maize and purple yam. And now, she refuses to travel by car, because in her words, that's what my alpaca's for. So when she learned that Credit Karma could help her find a credit card to earn travel rewards points, she finally made her Incan dream a reality. But on this trip, she went by plane. Her alpaca was relieved. Credit Karma. Here's to progress.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Are you looking for an alternative to drug and alcohol rehabilitation that allows you to recover in the privacy of your own home with an individualized program? The Key Light Company's Concierge Detox LA can be that alternative. Headed by Dr. Damon Raskin, addiction specialist, and clinical psychologist Dr. Howard Gless, Concierge Detox LA can meet your recovery needs. For more information, contact Concierge Detox LA at 323-935-9712. That's 323-935-9712.
Cause I got fun.
Talk Radio 790 KBC. You're listening to Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. We're broadcasting live in downtown trendy Culver City, and we're not watching the Golden Globes. I have live in studio Dr. Zhivago, who is probably not a real doctor at all. So you asked me a question before we broke about restraints on trade. California has a Business and Professions Code section which generally prevents restraints on trade. There's some exceptions. I believe one of the famous cases involved a news person personality being restrained for a reasonable amount of time due to the specific nature of his talent.
The Midwest Dr. Zhivago doesn't have any talent.
And you do?
Well, not necessarily as a doctor, but as a syndicated talk show host.
Oh, brother.
Your brother isn't a talk show host.
The issue to determine whether there can be a restraint on trade is not whether somebody has talent by a subjective standard. Some might think the guests on this show and I have talent. Others might disagree. But I want to thank everyone who listened between November 18th and December 18th because we got the highest Nielsen rating ever and had the most number of listeners for 15 minutes or longer. Yeah. BTW might want to catch up on those old episodes on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer channel on YouTube. We heard from Remus Helms. He explained how his product was infringed. An imposter appeared when Myron Alfumbra, pronounced Matting, was supposed to appear. Yeah, restraints on trade. The standard is not whether the person who might be prevented from doing their profession elsewhere has talent, because none of us do. The issue is whether whatever it is they do is sufficiently unique.
There's nothing unique about the Midwestern Dr. Zhivago's portrayal of Dr. Zhivago. There's nothing unique about him at all.
Wait a minute. You're inferring anyone could play Dr. Zhivago? I could appear on some station tomorrow and say I'm Dr. Zhivago?
No, not you.
Why?
Dr. Zhivago has to talk fast and believe in the almighty pill, whatever the capsule, tablet, or pellet is.
Pellet? Do you sell horse pills too?
Yes, we do. Many customers believe a pill can only be effective if it is gigantic.
How gigantic are we talking about?
What's the biggest thing you can swallow without gagging?
Well, everyone has a different tolerance, of course.
Could you swallow a golf ball?
No!
Well, some people can.
Is that good for them?
I can't answer that question. Could you swallow a Super Bowl?
One of those bouncy rubber balls I used to buy for a dime when I was a kid. Sometimes they're like the gift in a pseudo pinball machine these days.
Could you swallow something that big if you thought it could make you perform in the bedroom?
Seriously, I don't have that kind of relationship with my wife.
Would you swallow something as big as a Super Bowl if you knew it would give you a little bounce in your stomach?
No, I'd rather not feel a pellet shaped like a Super Ball, but apparently a gel capsule bouncing in my stomach.
It is a Super Bowl.
I think we can securely say we're involved in another ever-growing Berber toupee.
My Super Bounce pellets don't grow. They don't have to be tampooned.
Getting back to a potential legal issue here, does the Midwest Dr. Zhivago work in California?
No. He works out of cool Iowa.
You shouldn't make fun of Iowa. Many of Los Angeles' original residents came from places like Iowa.
I don't know if cool Iowa is cool or not. It's probably not. That's the name of the town he works out of.
Although the California Business and Professions Code prohibits restraints on trade, like you can't change jobs or work for a competitor just because I presume you're a California company, I'm a little confused. You have this weird, like, back east accent, but you said you're in Orange County. I'm not sure the California statute or California law applies to work done in Iowa.
I am a California employer. The Midwestern Dr. Zhivago was paid out of corporate in Brea.
Well, has Dr. Zhivago, the one we're talking about at least, has he broadcast from California?
Just once when I had a cold, and he had to fill in for me.
Did the listeners realize a man was purporting to be you?
I never really thought about that.
Did your listeners?
They're so caught up in my placebo miracle pills, they could care less.
What a depraved group of listeners.
I don't have your hipster audience or the super smart 60-plus group you've got who gets the humor on this show.
I don't mean to disparage other talk radio stations, but who exactly are your listeners?
You know, mostly brain dead. Some drunk buying, listening to, I presume. Yeah, stoners, men with very small members, Women in the 70s hoping to reverse the effects of menopause. Mostly their menstrual cycles.
The problem with the last thing you said is those women who are opening themselves up for inventory in the exciting new field, the sanitary napkin database, if they're trying to reverse those effects.
That's the only reason they want to go into reverse. They want to be part of the count.
How much does the reversal drug go for?
And see, right now, until the end of 1099 season at the end of the month, we're running a 2-for-1 special in concert with Queen's Rugs.
Queen's Rugs? Myron Alfumbra, pronounced Matting, swore he was taking his product off the market. I got into 2 car chases on 2 separate coasts looking for that man.
The sales are going out of business until the end of W2 season. That ends the last day of February.
Ugh, Queen's Rugs is only taking their product off the market for a month? That was not the agreement I made with Alfumbra.
If you want a Queen's Rug suitable for the head or townhome floor, you have to act by the IRS deadline for mailing out 1099s to those independent contractors. Otherwise, you have to wait until March 1st, 2019.
This is not exactly the agreement I reached with the CEO of the company when I found him cutting a very unpopular figure's hair is coming in from 3 separate plugs.
Since you're all concerned with consumer issues, safety of products and all, what do you think would happen if Queen's Carpet stopped servicing and selling tampooms for a month?
Well, presumably townhome floors and toupees across America would be wildly overgrown.
Mm-hmm. A breeding grounds for fleas, mosquitoes, potbelly pigs, albino rhinos who couldn't see above the ever-growing nylon fibers.
I'd prefer not to imagine that nightmare. Another note, just out of interest, does your show have a sponsor? We've got the Remus Helms Foundation, 14 inches and $5 billion in funding.
Well, we've got 11 sponsors per show, but Queen's Carpet is our main sponsor.
You condone the ever-growing Berber toupee that is actually...
Don't say it! Nylon and not Berber.
Listeners, I'm going to try to restrain the Dr. Zhavagos from broadcasting now that we've got her testimony, and she sounds a lot like Edith Bunker, but she says she comes from Orange County. I just don't get the whole thing. I don't understand it, how this woman, I don't think she's a doctor. I think she's a notary public, and I don't even know if she's that. And she's selling all these ridiculous miracle drugs, and her sponsor... Well, I got Remus Helms at least. Her sponsor is Queen's Carpets. Ugh, I can't imagine this. It's too much for me. This is the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show. I am Karl Gerber. I am a real lawyer, and I told you that after the first of the year, we would get back to scripted live comedy that relates to employment law. We talked a little bit, but not very much, about what is in the Business and Professions Code in California and is called the Restraint on Trade. It's the laws that prevent employers from saying an employee can't go and work for another company. And my point I was trying to make with this Dr. Zhavagos, or whatever her name was that those laws only pertain to employment in California. And so somebody who's working in another state doesn't enjoy the privileges of California law, which says you can't restrain someone from going out and getting another job in their profession because they wouldn't have the job. There have been some cases where professionals who sell their practice, mainly doctors and lawyers, are restrained for a certain number of years in a certain geography or reasonable geography from practicing their trade if they sell their practice. That's really been one of the only exceptions. The other one was years ago, and it was a case involving a newscaster who could be restrained because he had a very unique personality. But I get a lot of calls about restraints and people wondering if those are valid. It's a big topic in certainly the high-tech companies because because there's a lot of fear that someone's going to go out and they're going to use the specific information from their employer and go work at a competitor. So if you have a real problem about labor law and you're an employee, I'd like to hear from you at 877-525-0700. That's 877-525-0700. Once again, 877-525-0700. I have offices from Bakersfield down to Orange County, Riverside, to San Bernardino County, all over the place. So I can talk to you about a real workplace issue offline. I don't do it on the show because, as we explained in the last episode, those calls are just a little bit boring and people tend to ramble. Not that I don't. And I would like you to start listening to old episodes on workplacelawyer.org or to go to the Karl Gerber section of YouTube. All of our videos are up there, 101. We have some snippets from some of the exciting things like the parody vanishing point chase that we had, even the mistaken bullet / French Connection car chase. We have outtakes, and a lot of people listen there on YouTube, but we're also on iTunes, and you can go to Karl Gerber KBC. You can go to any sound sharing system, and you'll hear what we have to say on this program. We'll be back next Sunday, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock for another show, and I hope it's a good one. I have some information. It may be an employee who is just like, nobody wants to take credit for the employee. No one wants to say this employee is their employee. Imagine that, an employee without an employer. That's what we're going to cover next week on the Karl Gerber Workplace Lawyer Show on Talk Radio 790 KBC.
So much energy you can gain for your metabolism and your genes and your brain. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 12.
This show furnished by Karl Gerber and Employment Lawyers Group.